Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Must Know Go. Today we'll be talking about 3-3 Joseki. So as I mentioned in our opening moves video, the 3-3 is mainly focused on taking the corner. So because it's so focused on territory, the best results that white can get focus on white aiming to take the outside, the part of the board that black, by playing this move, said they did not want. And the simplest and easiest way to do that is to play this shoulder hit here. This move has somewhat fallen out of favor, especially in professional games. It's now seen as a little bit suboptimal for white, mainly because black gets so much territory, but this move is still played quite often in amateur games. So it is a very important move to know. As with most shoulder hits, the common reply for black is to play an extension on one side or the other to strengthen their stone. And if black does not respond and plays somewhere else, white would likely play one of those two moves. The question is, which way should black push? And the answer depends on the global situation. But a good rule of thumb is that when your opponent plays this shoulder hit against a 3-3 stone, you want to push on the side that your opponent does not want to develop. So, for example, if white had stones like in this region, somewhere here, and white wanted to therefore develop toward the right-hand side of the board, black would want to push on the side where white does not have stones. And so that would mean black would want to push here. And this seems counterintuitive because it looks like what black is doing is black is trying to undercut on this side and white wants to develop this way. But the reason for this is that when black plays this move, white really wants to follow with a move here at P16. So the purpose of the Q17 move was to strengthen the corner. The purpose of P16 is to strengthen the claim toward the outside of the board, and white is being pushed from behind. So white wants to allow black to push from behind and continue developing toward the center of the board. Were white to play down at R16, black would hane here at P16 and get a lot of territory both in the corner and a lot of development toward the top side of the board. Now that white has played this, black wants to make sure that white cannot seal black into the corner. And additionally, black was pushing this way because white had more potential on the right-hand side. So the move to both deal with the potential white had and also to get black out of the corner is to play here. This knight's move, which looks low and it looks kind of slow, but it actually gets black a lot of very solid territory and definitely gets black out of the corner. Now for white, again, the purpose of this move here was to develop influence toward the outside of the board. And by playing this move here, black is threatening to sort of surround these two stones with another move here at Q14. Additionally, if white did want to develop toward the right-hand side of the board, this move is working to limit that. So the move for white to help both develop toward the center and to continue giving white some potential on the right-hand side is to play this 2-point jump here. Yes, there's two stones here, so white would normally want to jump 3, but white is just not strong enough here. Black's corner is too solid, and the danger of black playing a jump to Q14 is just too great for white to go any farther than just a 2-point jump. Now from here, there's still one other way that white could lock black into this corner, because black can no longer come out this way. White could play at P17 and still limit black to just this corner. So to get out yet again, black plays another knight's move here at O18. And again, both of these two moves look very low, but they're incredibly solid, and it's actually given black about 14 points of territory here in the corner. White, again, wanting to develop toward the outside and not wanting black to get a move here at N16, plays yet another 2-point jump here at M16, and this here is the end of the Joseki sequence. Black has gotten the corner with quite a few points and is sort of out on both sides. White has gained a lot of influence toward the center of the board. However, like I said, this Joseki has sort of fallen out of favor, and nowadays it's considered to be slightly good for black, but it's still played in a lot of amateur games. And in situations where white really needs influence toward the center of the board, this is the move to do it. So let's look at that again. Black has played a 3-3 stone, hoping to gain territory in the corner of the board. White plays this shoulder hit, wanting to get influence toward the center of the board. The side that black pushes on doesn't matter locally, but if white has more potential on one side or the other, black should push on the side where white does not have potential. White allowing black to push from behind and not wanting to play at R16 for fear of the Hane at the head of 2 stones, plays at P16, again also building more influence toward the center of the board. Black, not wanting to get locked into the corner and hoping to reduce white on the right-hand side, plays at S15, getting out of the corner, getting some pretty solid points, and then threatening to almost surround white by playing at Q14. So white plays here at Q13, preventing black from surrounding the 2 stones and also gaining still more influence toward the center of the board. Black, then not wanting to get sealed in on the other side, plays at O18, building about 14 points of territory and being mostly out on both sides. And white, still wanting more influence toward the center of the board, finishes the Joseki at M16, and now black may play elsewhere. So the variation we're going to look at here still starts from the shoulder hit, but this time though, when white plays this shoulder hit here, white was being flexible. White could get influence toward either side of the board. So in this situation, it doesn't really necessarily matter. I mean, it matters a little bit which way black pushes, but if white had potential to get influence toward either side of the board, when black pushes from behind, white will still play out at P16. But now when black gets out of the corner here, white, realizing that white also has potential toward the top side, does not need to play at Q13, because Q13, while getting white more influence toward the center and potentially helping to build the right-hand side, if white had potential also toward the top, there's a move that white can play that will allow white to take advantage of that potential, and that move is here at P17. The downside of this move is that it allows, while it seals black into the corner on the top side, it does allow black to get out even more on the right-hand side, and to potentially surround and very much limit white's potential, both on the side and into the center. And the move to do that is at P14. And while this move, it looks like it's not super safe, it's actually totally connected because of the nature of this being a second-line move. There's no move that white can play that would immediately allow white to disconnect these 3 black stones here. So black is now out and up to the 4th line on the right-hand side, but white, these 3 stones here are still a little bit floating. White now will want to make a base, but because these stones here are not in as much danger as if white was coming over here onto the 4th line where black could potentially cut if white jumped 3. Black doesn't have any options over here to cut immediately, so white can come 3 from this. And then from here, black can now play elsewhere. If black wishes to continue this, moves to consider would be somewhere in this region to try to develop toward the right-hand side of the board. But otherwise, black can feel free to just play elsewhere. So the main reason that the shoulder hit has fallen out of favor, it has a lot to do with the fact that black gets to dictate what white can do, because by playing symmetrically, black can then choose which side to push on. So if white has a particular side of the board that white would like to develop, and does not want to allow black to choose which side they can develop toward, the move to do that is this move at A, the Long Knight's move. And this move aims to develop toward the right-hand side, and also a little bit toward the center. It's not as centrally oriented as the shoulder hit, but it does definitely help white to develop more toward the side that they are hoping to develop, and therefore does not allow black to dictate the direction that the Joseki is going to follow. However, the downside of this move is that it is very far away from the black stone, so black can now play a little bit looser, and the move to respond to this move is actually to mirror it on the other side here. The appeal of this move is that it's getting black potentially a lot of territory. It's coming up to the 4th line from this 3rd line stone here, and it's also aiming to potentially attack the white stone here. So white is not going to want to ignore this move, but white also can't really counterattack, so white's going to want to back off. And there are a few different moves that white can play here. If white wants to simply gain potential toward the right-hand side and does not want to settle a group here, the move to do that is here at A. But if white is looking to settle, the moves to do that are at B, C, or D. And today we're going to look at the most popular one, which is at B. So this move, it is aiming to make a base, so you'll see it goes from a 4th line stone down to a 3rd line stone. The danger of this move is that it is a little bit far. Black could potentially try to cut, but if black is looking to simply develop for themselves, then a really simple move is just to continue by playing this move over here on the top side. And this move, again, it's a little far here, and it looks like this is a little bit far here, but the reason that black plays farther out is because of what white can do over here. The rest of the sequence makes this move look better, because black is about to get stronger as white settles a group here. So the move for white to settle here is to play this diagonal, which, because it's now closer to this long knight's move, threatens to potentially cut black. It also just works to settle here. This is now sort of like a 2-stone wall, and this 3-point jump here now looks very good, and it's somewhat solid. But black, wishing not to be cut apart, and also wishing to put a little bit of pressure onto white, plays this bump here, which also has the added advantage of helping to secure the corner. And then white, not wanting black to get too much on the top side, and also, again, hoping to develop toward the right-hand side, which was their goal with playing this approach move in the first place, plays O14, which comes all the way up to the 6th line, looking to develop toward the right-hand side of the board. However, this move, because of how strong this connection is here, and because black also has another stone out here, black doesn't really need to respond immediately, so black can now play elsewhere on the board. So let's look at that again. Black has played a 3-3 stone, hoping to gain territory in the corner. White, wanting to develop toward the right-hand side, plays this long knight's move, high on the 4th line for development potential. Black, wanting to then develop toward the top side, where white did not play a stone, plays this long knight's move in response. While white could just play at A to have some more potential toward the right-hand side and not settle, white wants to settle a group here, and so white plays down to the 3rd line at B. Black, wanting a peaceful result, develops again toward the top side of the board, jumping 3 from this 1 stone, because later on black is going to get stronger. White, wanting to settle here now, plays this diagonal move, making this 3-point jump more secure, and also aiming at a possible weakness in black's shape. Black, wanting to defend that weakness, lean on white, and also strengthen the claim in the corner, plays this bump here at R16. And then white, not wanting to allow black too much development potential on the top, and also because white wished to develop toward the right-hand side of the board, plays this jump here at O14. And black is now free to play elsewhere. In that Joseki that we just looked at, there is a point where black can deviate, and I want to talk about that because while the result isn't that much better for black, it's important to know as white how to reply if black does decide to play it. So it begins the same. White plays here, hoping to develop the right-hand side, and black mirrors that, hoping to develop toward the top. But now when white plays here at B, hoping to settle a group, black can challenge that settling of a group in exchange for giving white a wall that gives white a lot more potential toward the center. And the move to do that is here. So this move threatens to split white, and white, wanting to settle here, is going to want to keep their stones connected. The move to do that in this situation is pretty much always the same. Whenever there's this high-low 3-point jump, if your opponent plays low on the inside, the move to keep your stones connected is here on top. And while this can be disconnected, in this situation, black doesn't necessarily want to provoke any kind of a fight, because what black is aiming for with this move is just to deny white settling here on the side, and instead black wants to make points here themselves. And the move to resolve this somewhat peacefully is to play here, this poke that threatens to cut white. White, of course, does not want to have their group cut in half, so white will respond here to the peep, and then black, wanting to get all their stones connected, will play here. This move, though, does push from behind, and so white can play here. This gets white a little bit more potential, but it's also now aiming at potential weaknesses in black's shape, and it forces black to respond yet again, so this move is pretty much free. And the move for black to respond is that black, again, does not want to follow from behind for longer than they have to, and the move is here. So this 1-point jump pretty much connects black's stones, because when white pushes here, black can just block here, and there's no immediate way that white can disconnect black. But then now white, wanting to have a wall toward the center of the board to find a way to use these 4 stones, will play here. Additionally, this move just works to stop black from building more toward the right-hand side. There's no real way that black can develop any additional points on the right-hand side of the board now that white has played this move to stop black. However, the disadvantage of this move is that it's really not sente, it's not forcing, because white's push here doesn't result in any black stones being captured. So from here, black can now play elsewhere on the board. If black wanted to play somewhere locally, black could consider moves somewhere in this region. But an important thing to note here is that because these 4 white stones are decently strong, the potential for cutting here does exist, as long as white is able to get some strength on the top side. So it's important to not jump too far from this stone unless white can't jump inside. Alright, so let's take a look at this variation again. Black has played a 3/3 stone to claim territory in the corner. White plays a long knight's move on the right-hand side to develop toward the right-hand side of the board. Black then mirrors on the other side, the side that white did not want to develop. White, wanting to make a group on the right-hand side of the board, comes down to the 3rd line. Black, wanting to deny white territory on the right-hand side of the board and getting some... Black, wanting to deny white territory on the right-hand side of the board and being comfortable with giving white a lot more influence toward the center, plays this move here to split the 2 white stones. White, not wanting their stones to be disconnected, plays on top. Black, just wanting a peaceful resolution to this, plays here, poking at this weakness, which white will then immediately fix. Black then pushes from behind one more time in an effort to link up their stones. White will allow themselves to be pushed, and then black makes a 1-point jump, linking up to the 3/3 stone. And then white, wanting to stop any further black development toward the right-hand side of the board, plays this hane at the head of 3 stones. And black may now play elsewhere. So, let's review 3/3 Joseki. The first Joseki we looked at resulted from this shoulder hit. While black was hoping to gain territory in the corner, this move by white almost purely aims for influence toward the center. Black then pushes. This push from behind strengthens black in the corner, and then white will follow, not wanting to have black play a hane at the head of 2 stones, and again, hoping to build influence toward the center of the board. Black then plays this knight's move, hoping to get out of the corner and also limit any potential that white would have toward the right-hand side of the board. White plays a 2-point jump, again, hoping to build toward the center of the board and also possibly preserve some potential toward the right-hand side. Black plays another knight's move, getting out of the corner and also working to potentially limit white on the top side. White then plays another 2-point jump to continue making points in the center, and black may now play elsewhere. If when black plays this move, white realizes that they also have potential toward the top side of the board, white can instead turn. However, this allows black to play at Q14, coming up to the 4th line and giving black some potential now toward the right-hand side of the board, while also limiting what white is building in the center. And then from here, because white's 3 stones could become weak, white will then make a base along the top side of the board. Black could follow up along the right-hand side to develop, but otherwise, black may play elsewhere. And when black plays a 3/3 stone, if white has a side they would like to develop toward, they may play a long knight's move to develop toward that side of the board. Black can then mirror, hoping to develop toward the side that white did not want. If white wishes to develop a group on the right-hand side, white can come down to the 3rd line with this 3-point jump. Black, if looking for a simple and peaceful resolution, can play here at K17 to develop toward the top side of the board. White then plays this diagonal, looking to solidify their group. Black then bumps at R16, hoping to prevent any weaknesses that white could exploit to cut black apart on the top side, while also making a much stronger claim toward the corner and potentially damaging white's group on the right-hand side. So white jumps out, working to limit black's potential on the top side while also building toward the right-hand side of the board. If, in that sequence, black decides that white should not have a group on the right-hand side of the board, and is comfortable with giving white even more influence toward the center, can play this cut that is looking to split white apart. White, wanting to stay connected, will play on top. Black, not wanting to create any kind of complications or fights, will simply peep here at this cut point, working to connect to the 3/3 stone. White will block. Black will then push from behind one more time, allowing white to get another move for free that threatens to cut black stones apart. Black will play this move at R16, hoping to keep everything connected. And then white can play here at R11, looking to limit how far black can build along the right-hand side, and giving white a very nice wall toward the center of the board. So thank you all for watching this episode of Must Know Go. In our next episode, we will take a look at 5-4 Joseki. But until then, thank you very much for watching. My name is Youngblade, and I hope that you all will have a wonderful day.